guys, it's Brittany, and today's set, I mean, you know, I'm just enjoying having my backdrop, but you guys have not seen Annabelle in so long. Annabelle is a staple on my channel. You guys know I've had this freaking doll since 2012. I remember I made a whole video about her when I first got her, and she used to always sit behind me on my little sets. And I was like, you know what? You guys haven't seen her in so long, so I wanted to bring her back. To be honest, I don't really like this setup. I'm still trying to figure out my little backdrop and sets, and you guys know I'm always changing things. I'm thinking about putting Amelia right here, so she's just, you know, like standing behind me. So today's video, I am very excited about it. First of all, how are you guys? How is your 2019 going so far? Mine is going great. I feel amazing, and you know, I wanted to make this video because I don't know why I just said, how is everybody doing this 2019 so far? I mean, I guess that's good that I asked you guys. You know, I want to know. Let me know down below how you're doing so far. Are you being positive? Put those positive vibes out into the universe, guys. Seriously, like, it is working. I feel amazing. So as a paranormal investigator, a lot of DMs and messages that I get from a lot of people are, how do you know if you are being haunted by something? And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of make this into a video. I feel like if you truly believe that you are being haunted by something, all these things that are going on that you cannot explain, then I think you just kind of answered your own question. So I wanted to make this video about some of the creepiest signs that you may indeed be haunted. So the first sign that is probably the craziest is levitation. Having things floating, like objects in your home just floating up in the air, and you obviously cannot explain that. Now, there's, you know, a lot of non-believers and skeptics like myself, but I also am a believer. I feel like I'm always confusing people because I'm always like, I'm a huge skeptic, but I'm also a huge believer. But a lot of people can say, you know, if you are claiming to hear a lot of noises in your home, it could very much be, you know, your house just settling, or just, you know, the little creaks and stuff that, you know, your home will make that is definitely not paranormal. And that's what a lot of non-believers can say, which I'm on their side on that, you know. But actually having objects in your home floating, levitating up in the air, there's really no explanation behind that, you know, unless someone has it on a string and is playing some prank on you. But really, if chairs are like being thrown around and levitating, or like a whole kitchen table, dining room set is up in the air, then that is 100% like, girl, there is something more than just a haunting going on here. And that's probably one of the craziest signs that you are being haunted, but I'm pretty sure that is one of the most obvious sign. The next one is, if any of you guys have pets, have you ever noticed them barking at a specific corner in a room, or they're looking up at the ceiling and they're just constantly staring at something, or they're howling at something, and you look to see what it is, but there's nothing there? Now, they say that animals can indeed see spirits, or they can sense something is there or something is wrong. And this is actually really scary because, you know, your pet is seeing something, but you don't see anything there. And, you know, I've seen a lot of videos of people's dogs just barking at a corner, and they do it at the same time every night, or 3 a.m. My old dog, Daisy, she passed away 2 years ago, but she used to bark at like 3 a.m. every night. 3 a.m. every night, and she would look up at the ceiling, and she just, I always felt like Daisy had psychic abilities. I mean, obviously I can't confirm that because, you know, we obviously don't speak the same language. You know, I couldn't actually have a conversation with her, even though I always talk to her, and I just, you know, imagine that she's listening and, you know, maybe like talking to me back in her head or something. But, you know, I always feel like she could sense things, which a lot of animals can, but especially her. It's like she knew, I don't know, she just always looked at certain areas, and she wouldn't walk away from a corner. She just always had her eyes glued to something, like she was looking at something or someone, which gave me the heebie-jeebies. I'm getting chills right now just thinking about that. But, you know, if your pet is looking at a corner of a room and they're constantly doing this, and, you know, there's no explanation as to why they're doing that, then that is definitely a huge sign that something paranormal is happening. And of course, if you're actually seeing shadowy figures or any kind of apparition walking around your home, then definitely, you know, you're not crazy. You know, I think a lot of people think, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Like, I thought I saw this, but I'm seeing this figure every night, or this woman is standing at the foot of my bed every single night. And you hear a lot of stories of these apparitions standing at the foot of someone's bed, which gives me the heebie-jeebies. You know, it's so like, just talking about these stories, like, I'm just so weird, because when I'm actually, you know, on location, I'm so chill and I'm so calm. But I don't know, I do not make sense, but you know what? I'm living. But if you are waking up, you know, especially at 3 a.m., but if you are waking up anytime during the night, or if you're just walking around your house and you see a figure or you see some apparition, I mean, that is clearly more than a sign that you are, you know, being haunted, which is definitely really scary. But I also want to say this, I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, I've never personally been haunted. You know, I've never lived in a haunted house. You know, I want to, that is my dream. I actually tweeted about it the other night. My dream haunted house to live in is the old pink house in Savannah, Georgia. But I've actually never been haunted. I've never had anything really follow me. You know, I've had psychics tell me that, you know, spirits have followed me and I have like an entourage behind me. Do I believe that? You know, I'm kind of getting away from psychics and just kind of living in the moment. You know what I mean? So I don't know, I've never been in a house and felt like, oh my God, something's following me and I'm specifically being haunted. But of course, when I'm on location, that's when I experience hauntings. But like, I'm not specifically being haunted, if you know what I mean. So I just kind of want to put that out there. Now, I saw things when I was a kid, but I think a lot of kids do see things. They're a lot more sensitive than adults. And were they real? I believe what I saw was definitely real. I don't believe it was my imagination. Another sign is if you are feeling as if you are being watched. Now, a lot of people do wake up at 3 a.m., maybe 3:33 a.m., 4 a.m., 4:44 a.m. That's the one I always wake up at. And they say if you wake up at 3 a.m. and you just, you know, get right out of bed, like, you know, your eyes just open up, you know, so big like that, just whoo, you know what I mean? Then it means that something is watching you. That's what they say, which is just really creepy. But if you're just walking around your home and you feel as if somebody's watching you, that could potentially be something paranormal, especially if it's very intense. Like, there has to be somebody watching me. You know, I'm not just having this weird fear going on in my head. There is somebody in this house watching me. Now, could it be a living person? You know, there's a bunch of stalkers. There's a lot of people who, you know, break into people's homes and they hide, and, you know, there's a lot of messed up people in this world. I think, you know, a lot of people can sense if there's an actual living person in their house as well. But I also think, you know, if you do feel as if you're being watched, you know, whenever I'm home alone, I feel like I'm being watched, but I know it's not paranormal. I just have a lot of anxiety and I get freaked out being home alone in a big house all by myself. For me, when I get that feeling, I'm always scared that, you know, some crazy killer is in the house. You know what I mean? So that's kind of different. It's just kind of my fear watching so many horror movies and stuff and, you know, being alone. But really, it's just my imagination. But then there's other people who are just like, you know what? There is someone that I can't see that can see me, and that just gave me chills right there as well. Also too, if you wake up and you hear whispers, you know, it's almost like a whisper woke you up in the middle of the night, that could be definitely a sign. There's so many signs, guys, and a lot of the signs that you guys tell me in DMs, I mean, those are definitely signs. You know, whatever you're experiencing, and if you definitely feel like something is in my house, if you feel it, then you've really answered your own question. Another sign can be electricity. They say spirits love to play with electricity, but this can also definitely not be something paranormal. So before you go crazy thinking, oh my God, this has to be a ghost, really try to think, you know, what if it's this? What if it's that? Even when I'm on location and I'm like, oh, that has to be something paranormal, you know, I don't automatically think something's paranormal. I'm always trying to think of logical explanations. And then if I can't think of any, or anyone else who's with me can't think of any, then you're just like, okay, you know, that is weird. Another sign is cold spots. You know, if you feel something kind of walk through you, almost like a wall, and it's cold when you're in your home, then that is definitely really weird. I mean, it could be your AC, you know, but if you know it's not your AC doing that and you're feeling cold spots around your house, but especially that really crazy wall that just kind of goes right through you. I've never felt that, but I know people that have. then that's definitely a sign. And of course, unexplained sounds. Now, you know, your house can totally make creaking sounds throughout the night, and when I'm home alone, that's when I usually hear so many noises. And it freaks me out because I think a living person came into the house, and that is just, you know, a huge fear of mine. It's definitely not paranormal. I wish that it was, but I think a lot of people can, you know, mess up that fear with, you know, horror movies and thinking this and that, but also putting it as paranormal. Another huge sign is if you hear this giant bang, like, oh my god, what just fell? It sounds like it just shattered everywhere. And when you go to check to see what it was, you cannot find anything. There's nothing that shattered anywhere. That has happened to me before, and that's happened to my dad a lot as well. Like when his mother passed, my grandma, she comes around my dad so much. Like the things that he's experienced, I should really have him on my channel to describe some of the things that he's experienced, guys. But you know, I've had that too. You hear this unexplained bang and you don't know what it is, but you have an idea in your head, like, what the heck, oh my god, did that fall? And when you go to check, there's nothing there. Like nothing fell and nothing shattered. So I think that is really messed up and just so creepy. Also hearing unexplained footsteps, like if you're in a room and you hear somebody walking in the next room, or you're in the room you're in now and you hear someone walking, I mean, that is very unsettling. So if you're hearing these noises, then, you know, there could perhaps be a spirit that is attached to you or is in your house. Now, the final sign, and there's so many more signs out there, guys, you know, but I just kind of wanted to narrow it down to some of the creepiest signs in this video. But if you want me to do more videos like this, let me know. But one of the darkest signs is if you are waking up every day with bruises, scratches, or bite marks, or, you know, like handprints, just really weird, bizarre things on your body that you really shouldn't have. I mean, I bruise very easily and I wake up with bruises all the time, especially on my leg. I don't know how they got there, but I know it's not paranormal. But if you're having scratches and bite marks, that is definitely something a lot darker. And it's really scary because it means that the spirit in your house is definitely not a friendly one. So really, you need to get the hell out of there. But in some cases, it doesn't matter if you escape from your home, if you're experiencing these bruises and scratches and bite marks all over your body. Sometimes this entity is actually attached to the person and it will not leave them alone at all. It doesn't matter wherever this person goes. This person can move to another state, but this entity will be attached to them and will continue leaving those marks on their body. And that's when it gets really dark and just really messed up and scary. And I think that's one of the scariest signs that anyone could ever experience. Now, if you are experiencing any of these signs, first of all, I highly recommend looking up the history of your house, you know, the property, the land, and kind of putting the pieces together like that, you know, oh, it kind of makes sense why this is happening or that is happening. But even if you do all the research in the world and you find absolutely nothing, but you are experiencing so many of these signs, you know, something could have followed you. Anything is possible. I know people who have had something follow them like throughout their childhood and into their adult life. I've had people in my family that have experienced hauntings. I've mentioned on my channel before, my aunt and uncle on my dad's side, they had to move out of their house. They actually moved across the street of their house, or from their house, across the street from their house, because there was some crazy activity going on. And I remember I was a kid when it was happening, but a lot of weird stuff happened in that house and they had to eventually move out because it just got to be too much. And my cousin, she also could talk to dead people. Like, she was a baby and she could look up and talk to dead people. It was so crazy, and I want to make a video so badly with my cousin about that. She has no memory of that, but my aunt was absolutely terrified when my cousin would look up at the ceiling and talk to people as if they're there. And she's this little girl, and she was once talking to this woman at a cemetery, and her grave, she couldn't even read, and her mom was just like, what the heck was she talking to? And the grave, like the name, was a woman. And she was talking to her. So I don't know, there's just so much crazy stuff, and I know a lot of people experience this a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on your notifications so you'll be notified every single time that I upload. I upload every single week. Give this video a big thumbs up because it helps me out a lot. So please give me a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. And like I said, subscribe and become a brethren. Yes, become a brethren. We have the best name on YouTube, guys. Like, hands down, the best name ever. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hashtag team Britty44, hashtag brethrens. Hey. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.